what to do, and how to set things up for the future, and what needs to be happening in the future and that. Well, finally she admitted that she gets hurt every game, and that the
Head hurt?
Head hurt, yeah. And
That's a new story.
yeah, I go, whoa, okay. Now we've got multiple brain injuries,
Right.
and that. And
Is she spiking the ball or is she crashing into people?
I think part of it is just crashing into people, and so.
I love soccer because I like to kick people. It's an excuse.
That's sweet. I discovered volleyball after I got married.
Oh man, that you could spike, you would be deadly.
Just ramming it down their throat. What goosebumps I got.
Oy.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we have Jesus.
That's right. I got a lot of repenting to do. Is it wrong? Is it wrong that I feel this good?
Why did you give me sports?
Exactly. Mom always said, "You're gonna feel bad for punching somebody in the face."
Do you have
She
yet?
had no idea. She
How
didn't know
good
what
it
she was
felt?
talking about. It's still, to this day, every face I've punched, I look back with joy. I relive the joy. She just didn't know. She should have punched in the face.
She should have. She needs a bob.
That's right.
Everybody needs a bob.
She should have punched my dad in the face. That would have been a surprise.
That would have been a surprise.
For Dad. Okay.
We were thinking about how to use this footage because it's kind of repetitive, and if we do not have conversation about something, I'm trying to just edit out conversation. So I thought, well, at least we could piece together a whole bunch of lasers or a whole bunch of colonics and a whole bunch of adjustments, and then while we're talking about things, we could use footage.
Mm-hmm. Well, what questions do you have while we're...
I'm so questionless right now. What do you have, Stacy?
We had, the colonic question we came up with yesterday. Remember we were talking about the colonics? What
Yeah,
happens?
that was your question.
What happens after you're done with this if you need a colonic?
Okay, the word is caloric.
Or
Oh,
caloric.
caloric.
That's all right. That's all right. Calor is heat.
Okay.
So, but colonic is the other end.
Okay.
Yep.
So
We're avoiding that one.
Yeah, we're
one
avoiding that.
of the most profound cranial nerve 10 exercises you can do is a coffee enema.
Okay.
Seriously?
It's brilliant, freakishly brilliant, very powerful. I'm interested in seeing like a study done with 12 or 15 patients who are like in their 70s, who've started to lose control down there, and to use coffee enemas and see over a period of like months and see if the control is different. I assume I would bet money, which I don't usually bet, right? On that it would have a profound effect. See, the enema, the way it works is you're going to put enough fluid up in you to where you have an urgency, and then you're going to sit on the pot and try not to go. And so this is like Olympic lifting for cranial nerve 10.
Wow, okay.
The coffee affects the nicotinic receptors, which are autonomic parasympathetic.
Okay.
So we've got a double whammy on that cranial nerve 10 system where you are pushing that system to really get tough and really get good at doing the digestive elimination, which is also sending signals up to the NTS, like when I do the polaricular valve. Profound. And in fact, when I rate cranial nerve 10 exercises, I put that one at the top.
Oh wow.
Say that is
Is that
most-
the same thing with people with bladder control problems? Is that cranial
See,
nerve 10 or is that different?
Well, cranial nerve 10 is always going to be involved, but there's always a voluntary and involuntary part of that system, right? The involuntary system, the reason you don't wet the bed is because your involuntary system has learned to say, no, I'm going to wait until you get up, right? In fact, it's gotten to the point where you don't even alert yourself until you're getting up, right? Oh, I got to go. I didn't even know I had to go, right?
Yeah.
It didn't wake me up, right? And so that's the voluntary side of the system. But then the involuntary part of the system, or the voluntary part of the system is I can decide to go longer if I need to, you know, that kind of thing. Well, they're all connected to that sympathetic nervous system through the frontal lobe, a little more on the left than on the right. And so if we can get that cranial nerve 10 to boost, is going to be radically helpful to even the urination system.
Okay, good. So that is a colonic.
That's a colonic, you
Okay.
got it.
And then the caloric is the
Is
ear.
the ear, right.
Okay.
And you were asking about the ear.
Yeah. Can I do one on my own?
You can. It's possible.
I'm assuming you're not using coffee straight from the coffee maker. It's got
I
to
don't
cool
know.
off a little.
I don't know. Yeah.
Cool
for the coffee maker. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would hope that you would know not
That would
to do
cause
that.
a whole new problem.
Yeah. Oh look, lava. That's one of my names for vomit. Body lava.
Body lava, that is good. Ew.
I also like Technicolor yawn.
Oh, gross. Technicolor
We
yawn.
used to have a lot of them for
Yeah.
when I was in college sports.
Sure.
Did a lot of vomiting.
Mm-hmm.
Running stairs on the college. Get up to the top with a 50-pound pack. Look over, and then turn around and go back.
Yeah. First week of basketball practice with the garbage
The buckets,
in the
yeah.
corners of the
Yep.
gym. So
Go over and
yeah.
let it out.
Yeah, you always know who did not keep in shape over the summer.
I was severe. I had really bad asthma as a kid. I was really sickly, and I joined basketball, and I wanted to be with that group, and that. But man, when I'd run, it sounded like my friends I talked to. They say, "Oh, we thought you were gonna die." And I'd get to the end of the run. We always ran at the end. What seemed to me like forever, but it's probably not that long. Maybe a block. But we get to the end, and I was already seeing black and white with the pixels, and then it's starting to go, and then I just start barfing. So,
Did you stick with it?
and finally, I was thought, man, what a wimp. And then 20 years later, I'm going, I was the only one that pushed that hard.
Yeah.
I was always the last one picked. I sucked so bad, right? But they kept me, right? Well, maybe that was the reason. Maybe it's because I was willing to push it truly to the edge.
I understand that. My first dance job I got because they had open call and they had about 18 auditions, or, 2 a day. And I'd get cut, I'd go back. I'd get cut, I'd go back. And I finally, the very last audition, he said, "Give that girl a job. She's got diligence." I had to go home and look that up. I have it.
You got it. Very good. I discovered I was an athlete in the swim team.
Yeah.
Swim lessons, my mom would just drop us off at the pool, and we'd be there all, most of the day.
Yep.
And they had offered a swim team, and I said, "Hey, can I do that?" And so I got on it. I loved it.
I did too.
Awesome. And I was so bad. Every meet, every race, I was last, dead last. But I didn't care. I loved it.
That's good.
I loved the movement. I loved the feeling of contracting my muscles and feeling the water go over you.
Yeah, I think swimming's the best. We had practice at 5 a.m. every morning. It was so cold. I'd ride my skateboard.
Yeah, gosh. 5 a.m. for us, it was probably 85, 90 degree water.
Yeah.
You can see me on a
In
skateboard.
Phoenix.
I was totally a skateboard girl. I had 3 brothers. What can I do? I could never do any tricks, but I could wreck really good.
Stunt woman.
I was totally a stunt woman.
Did your own stunts. That's really cool.
Too bad I didn't have a GoPro. You would just see the ground coming
Yeah.
all the time. And I lived.
I'm okay. What other questions?
I am brain dead today. Mostly now it's just start thinking about when can we film and what do we want to film, that way we don't waste any time, we go right into it. So we kind of need a loose script and a things that you for sure want to cover.
Well, I have a question.
Sure.
You've seen markable improvements. Yeah. Is there a possibility of falling back
Mm-hmm.
and having to go all through this again?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The thing about this is the more we do, the more we tend to wire. That's the Hebbian principle. That which fires together wires together. The more we get it wired in, the more it's not going to fall back.
Okay.
In fact, I very often hear from parents or asking for a friend, right? Aren't you worried that it's going to, they're going to wake up and it'll be gone? And I always say, do you stay up night worrying that your kids are going to wake up and have forgotten how to read? You don't worry about that at all. Why? Because it's wired in. And every time they read, they're supporting that new attainment. Riding a bicycle. There are 3 major systems involved in that. Pressure on the pedals, pressure on the handlebars, and balance. And if I take them off the bike and I test, like let's say the pressure on the pedals is a problem, then I break that down into its systems. And I say, okay, which part of the system or systems is weak? So then I start working with those, and then I can retest those systems. Okay, that's doing better. Now I'm going to test pressure on pedals. Okay, that's better because of what we did. Now I'm going to put it back on the bike and see, because that functionally, it's the bike that I care about. I don't care about all those little systems. I want to create a circuitry and a concerted effort by all the circuitry to be able to create the behavior we call riding a bike. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And once we do that, whatever the circuitry that we did gets supported, but also it's involved in lots of other stuff too. And so whatever it does, in other ways is supporting that circuitry. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Also, because of what we're dealing with here, we're dealing with a problem of B12. Go ahead and tap your fingers. B12. So we're gonna have to do B12. That's all there is to it. You're gonna have to keep doing it because pernicious anemia has eaten the sensitive lining of your stomach, and you can't absorb it. So you're gonna have to get it in another way. Okay. So also autoimmune. You got to stop the autoimmune. That's what tore up the lining anyway, and it's attacking everything else. It just hasn't given symptoms. Like, you don't have symptoms of Hashimoto's yet, right?
What is that? What are those symptoms?
That's thyroid.
Okay.
That's autoimmune thyroid.
So is that like progression into that? I don't want that.
Well, no, I understand that it's attacking everywhere.
Okay.
Whatever succumbs, whatever's weak. If your thyroid is weak, then you'll start to notice low energy. I'm gaining weight fast that I can't get rid of.
Okay.
Everything is slow and sluggish. Thyroid, because thyroid goes to every cell of your body.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like shoveling coal in an old-time train, you know, the engine. That thyroid is like that coal. And so, but that, I mean, it's attacking everything. So you got to stop the autoimmune so it no longer does that.
And last week you talked about peeling back the autoimmune. So at this point, do you think that's peeled back, or do you think, okay.
No. I don't think that we've dealt with a major inflammatory event.
Okay.
If we do, a lot of krill is what it's going to take, right? A lot. But peeling it back is, I get through the vitamin D protocol. I know exactly how much my D demand is, and I'm doing it.
Okay.
And then I figure out, is it a TH1 versus a TH2? Okay, it's a TH2. And that. Now I take the botanicals one at a time. While I'm still doing my D, I'm taking one at a time, and I'm finding that level and how it helps. Go ahead and relax.
So that's your benchmark for the autoimmune. So
that is to stop the autoimmune. And once I get through all of those individually, then we're going to take, and whatever she likes, we're going to try as a cocktail. And we better get 100% of all the value. And if we do, great. It's the D in the cocktail. Or if it doesn't, some of them aren't at 100%, great. We'll do the ones that we get 100% by putting them together in the D. And then we'll find another time, like lunch or dinner, to do the others and see what combination we need to do in order to get 100% of all the value. Once that happens, that's the protocol, and that's what stops the autoimmune. So until we get that done, it's not peeled back.
Okay.
Even though you may be feeling better. That's great. I like that, but I don't.
An inflammatory event is the seizures?
The inflammatory event is the cloudy head, severe anxiety, severe depression, personality changes, and that. Can seizures go with that? Absolutely. It's a part of the fatigability of the system and the overstimulation of epileptiform activity, you know, within certain areas of the brain.
Okay.
Right? You see the difference?
Yes.
Okay. Because the inflammation and all those other things are like foundational. And once we get that handled, then we start working on putting the brain back together.
Okay.
Right? Including, you got these epileptiform activities coming from very specific parts of the brain. So we're going to be working with the opposite part of the brain to tell it to shut up.
Okay.
If it's truly epileptiform, meaning healthy cells gone rogue, or if it's sick cells, we're working with them directly to boost them up, to improve their plasticity. So that they won't do it anymore. See, sick cells that do that are doing it so they can survive, so they won't die.
They're fighting.
Yes, they're fighting to stay alive, to survive. And so those we work with directly and get them to become more and more and more plastic. And once they hit plastic,
we're golden.
No more seizures. With the other, you know, with epilepsy and seizure disorders, those are healthy cells. We have to work to get them beat back and to keep them beat back.
And beat back means calm down?
Yeah, so let's say I've got a part of my brain over here and a part of my brain over here. Robbins area 44, Robbins area 44. Speech, emotionality of speech, okay? And let's say I have epileptiform activity, seizure disorder here. And that seizure disorder is healthy cells gone rogue. So I'm going to have to use this to tell that to shut up, just to get rid of the symptoms that I got.
Okay.
But I'm going to need to build up this part of the brain so that every time it operates, it inhibits that. Right now, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and this is Pee Wee Herman. I want to build this up to be Arnold Schwarzenegger, bigger than Arnold, so that every time it does its job, every time you speak with emotionality, which rarely happens,
Right.
that was funny. Just,
There's a smirk here. There's a smirk.
I guess I gotta point it out. So, but every time you do that, you're beating back, you're knocking down, and so I wanna create a machine that will offset that hyperactivity. That makes sense?
Yes.
So that's the strategy there. If it's here and it's weak here because it's sick, I'm going directly to build it up so that it's no longer sick, so it's healthy, so it's plastic. And the definition I like for plastic is resilient to stress in that it thrives on stress. It grows with stress rather than just trying to hang out, or it gets killed by stress. So,
Okay.
that makes sense?
Yes. So what could someone do at home that knows they have dystonia, seizure disorder, but they can't come here? Can they do anything for themselves to help their brain?
You're gonna have to get a hold of somebody who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Got it. I mean,
You've got to be brain mapped to know what's the problem.
got it. Yeah, you got to figure out where it is and what it is, because if you assume it's a seizure disorder and it's really pseudoepileptiform, what you do is going to make it worse.
Okay.
If you assume the reverse, you're going to make it worse.
Okay.
Because you have to have not only the right area but the right approach
Okay.
to it. That's that one case that I talked about that has a seizure disorder of her speech, Brokaw's, right on the left, and everybody's been working with Brokaw's, which is what I'm working with right here. Everybody's been working with it, and it's getting worse. And and then when I did my exam, when I worked with it, I made it worse. So, okay, went to the other side, did 44 on the right, and all of a sudden she could talk.
Wow.
Why? Because she had the brake on, and every time we use that, it puts the brake on even more, tightens down, locks down, and so when I use the opposite, it inhibited it, and then she could talk.
Wow.
And so now we're building 44 over here.
How do
Okay, it's true.
you know how to ride a bike?
I do.
Well, that's good.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. I can't read it this way.
Do you know how to crash on a bike?
Oh, yes, I'm a pro.
So I have these two dots, the red dots, and I use them to determine if loss of blood flow. And you look at them like this, they're big, and I ask the question, is it the same size, shape, and shade of red? And on the side that has less blood flow, it'll be lighter shade and or smaller, and because you're losing blood flow to your eye.
Oh.
I showed it to my brother, and I said, and I turned it like this, and I said, right or left? And he goes, Thursday.
Oh, that's funny.
That's my brother. Funniest guy I ever met.
See, now if I did these upside down, I could probably get through that.
You could probably do better, because then you're not focusing on the word.
I'm trying not to focus on that.
Okay, all right.
Black, red, green, black, pink, red. Red, pink, black, green, yellow, yellow, blue, yellow. Pink, I mean. Green, black, yellow, pink, red, blue, green, black, yellow, red. Oh, man, yellow, blue, red.
You're fatigued.
I'm so fatigued.
You're done. All right, fatigued girl.
I flunked it.